The playful chaos between Chelsea Handler and Kevin Hart unfolds in a way that feels both unpredictable and completely natural, as if the two have spent years perfecting the art of teasing each other. From the very beginning of their exchange, the tone is set with sharp humor and unfiltered remarks that immediately pull the audience into their unique dynamic. Chelsea wastes no time launching into a bold jab, making a comment that catches Kevin off guard while also setting the stage for the kind of relentless roasting that follows. Kevin, never one to back down, fires back with his own brand of humor, and what begins is less of an interview and more of a comedic sparring match. Their interaction feels less like a formal conversation and more like two longtime friends who know exactly how to push each other's buttons. Chelsea's quick wit is on full display as she critiques Kevin's outfit, jokingly referring to it as male lingerie, a comment that draws laughter while also highlighting her fearless comedic style. Kevin, equally sharp, questions her logic and turns the moment into an opportunity to flip the joke back onto her. The banter moves rapidly, with neither willing to give the other the upper hand for long. At one point, Chelsea points out something in Kevin's beard, playfully suggesting it could be anything from a tick to dandruff or even a stray piece of fabric. Kevin reacts with mock disbelief, but the moment perfectly captures the kind of humor that defines their relationship: bold, slightly absurd, and completely unfiltered. Chelsea doubles down by claiming she can always tell when Kevin is lying because he's had the same expression since he was a baby, joking that she's known him since he was 6 months old. Kevin shakes his head, amused but ready with a comeback, and the exchange continues without missing a beat. The conversation briefly shifts when Kevin references Jumanji, telling Chelsea to take it down a notch, as if she's bringing too much energy to the moment. But Chelsea leans into the chaos, refusing to dial it back. Instead, she amplifies it, reminding everyone that this isn't a typical interview. It's something far more entertaining. As the discussion continues, they begin reflecting on their long-standing friendship. Kevin asks Chelsea about her first impression of him, prompting her to respond with humor rather than sentimentality. She mimics him in a playful, exaggerated way, referencing his tendency to call and FaceTime at random times. This leads to a hilarious segment where Chelsea recounts how Kevin would constantly try to reach her via FaceTime, often at inconvenient moments. She describes how his camera angles were always off, usually showing just the top of his head, making the calls even more ridiculous. Chelsea shares a particularly memorable story from during the COVID period, when Kevin would FaceTime her while he and his wife were clearly bored and looking for entertainment. She recalls answering a few times before realizing that something felt off, joking that it seemed like they were either looking for a third person to join them or needed some kind of counseling session. Her exaggerated suspicion adds another layer of humor, and Kevin can't help but laugh at the absurdity of her interpretation. Their ability to turn even the simplest memories into comedic gold is part of what makes their chemistry so engaging. Chelsea admits that despite all the jokes, she genuinely thinks Kevin is incredibly funny, emphasizing that his talent is undeniable. Kevin accepts the compliment, but quickly shifts the focus back to humor, ensuring the tone never becomes too serious for too long. The conversation takes another comedic turn when Chelsea brings up Kevin's skiing skills, or lack thereof. She teases him about his technique, claiming that anyone who skis properly doesn't rely on basic methods. Kevin defends himself, but Chelsea paints a vivid and hilarious picture of him attempting tricks on the slopes, even joking that he would strip down mid-run just to impress people. Kevin responds by escalating the joke, claiming that Chelsea has been banned from multiple ski resorts due to her antics, adding another layer of absurdity to their back and forth. As the energy builds, Kevin shifts the conversation toward an upcoming event, his roast, which is set to stream on Netflix. He expresses genuine excitement about the roast, explaining that he's looking forward to the challenge and the opportunity to engage with other comedians in a high-energy environment. Chelsea, of course, can't resist pointing out that the event falls on Mother's Day, suggesting that Kevin may have overlooked an important detail. Kevin admits he didn't initially realize the timing, but brushes it off with humor, saying his wife will still be by his side to celebrate. Kevin elaborates on what excites him most about the roast: the chance to respond to jokes in real time. He makes it clear that while he's more than capable of taking jokes at his expense, he's equally prepared to deliver his own. He describes the experience as a kind of comedic battlefield, where anyone who steps on stage should be ready for what comes next. Chelsea listens, amused, occasionally interjecting with comments that keep the tone light and playful. The focus then shifts to Kevin's show, where he's searching for the next big stand-up star. Chelsea is involved as one of the judges, and she shares her perspective on the experience. Initially unsure of what to expect, she admits that she was surprised by Kevin's level of dedication and passion for comedy. She describes how moved she was by the performances and how seriously Kevin takes the responsibility of mentoring new talent. Kevin speaks about the importance of giving back to the comedy community, emphasizing that those who have found success have a responsibility to help others find their way. He reflects on his own journey, explaining that he didn't have a clear roadmap when he started out. Everything he achieved came through trial and error, discovery, and persistence. Now, he wants to make the path a little clearer for the next generation. Chelsea acknowledges this side of Kevin, noting that while he often presents himself in a comedic light, there's a genuine sincerity behind his actions. She praises the group of comedians featured on the show, admitting that she was impressed by their talent. Kevin appreciates the compliment, especially coming from someone as candid as Chelsea, who is known for speaking her mind regardless of the situation. Their conversation briefly touches on Kevin's past struggles, including one of his biggest disappointments, his early television show that was canceled before it had a chance to succeed. He recalls how the experience initially felt like a major setback, especially given the expectations that came with it. At the time, having a TV show was seen as a guaranteed path to success, and its sudden cancellation was a harsh reality check. However, Kevin explains that those early failures ultimately shaped his perspective. Having faced rejection multiple times, he learned not to rely on any single opportunity to define his career. Instead, he used those experiences as motivation to keep pushing forward. Chelsea listens attentively, recognizing the value in his story, particularly for aspiring comedians who may be facing similar challenges. As the interview continues, Chelsea highlights how positive the environment on Kevin's show feels, noting that even those who didn't make it through still gained valuable exposure and experience. Kevin agrees, emphasizing that success isn't always immediate, but that every opportunity contributes to growth. Their dynamic shifts once again as Chelsea jokingly accuses Kevin of turning every compliment into a strategic move, suggesting that he's learned how to redirect conversations in a way that makes others feel good. Kevin laughs off the accusation, insisting that he's simply being genuine. Chelsea playfully argues that their relationship resembles an abusive dynamic, where she delivers harsh truths and Kevin responds with kindness. Kevin takes a moment to express genuine appreciation for Chelsea, thanking her for being part of his journey and for contributing to the success of his projects. He speaks about the importance of relationships in building a career, emphasizing that having people you respect and trust makes all the difference. Chelsea, caught slightly off guard by the sincerity, tries to deflect with humor, but ultimately acknowledges his words. The interview concludes with a mix of laughter and heartfelt moments, perfectly encapsulating the essence of their relationship. What starts as a series of playful insults evolves into a deeper conversation about friendship, growth, and mutual respect. Through all the jokes and roasting, it's clear that the bond between Chelsea Handler and Kevin Hart is built on a foundation of genuine connection, making their interactions not just entertaining, but also meaningful.